Hi friends, in our time together today, I'm introducing the Clarke Celtic high D whistle. This introduction really rose out of a conversation I've been having with some of our friends. One friend in particular, as the conversation got a little deeper, and I realized I didn't have a Clarke Celtic, and so I bought one, and it arrived. And I want to talk about it and introduce it. Let's think about, purchasing an inexpensive tin whistle. You know that I often recommend that you purchase at least an intermediate range instrument so that you have something you can really grow into. But a lot of times somebody wants something that they can just spend a little bit of money on, or your budget's not big and you want a whistle you can play. You want a whistle you're not, that's pretty indestructible. You want a whistle you could travel with. You want a whistle that still has good tone, good responsiveness. Some people want a starter whistle to just see if they want to play the whistle, or they want to play the low whistle, but they want to learn the fingering first and how to play. And all these are good entry points to why you might want something like the Clarke Celtic whistle. And I've looked at a number of, and I've had videos on different high D whistles. We've talked about the various Dixon polymer whistles. And I like these. And like the DX005 starts to get a little more expensive. So I'm really trying to focus on less expensive instruments. But some people, the polymer brings a certain tone. And some people want that more traditional tone. And so I have a small handful of a number of other whistles that I'm not going to play because I've played many of these in other situations. And the challenge with a lot of these is the consistency. Sometimes you might get one that's okay, but a lot of times some of the notes are really hard to play. And if the note's hard to play, you might as well have spent more money on an upper intermediate whistle and learned to play the harder notes, right? The tone can be inconsistent, but you get to something like the Clarke Sweetone, and that tapered bore creates consistency of volume and tuning top to bottom. It's got a nicely designed head. It is not tunable, but that's okay. And this is just a lovely whistle to play. It's a good starter whistle. It's a good throw in my backpack whistle to just keep with you. The Clarke Celtic is like the same whistle with a better suit on, because I think this one's really pretty with the decoration and that lovely green paint. So anyway, I want to introduce this whistle to you. It's very inexpensive. At the end, I'm going to tell you where to get one. First thing I want to do is it came in, like a lot of inexpensive whistles do. From Clarke, it comes in a box, but it came with this nifty piece of paper that said, here's a free book download. And the download has 336 pages of tunes. And I downloaded, I've looked through it. It says it's over 400 Celtic tunes. It's a PDF, and that's really cool. So I want to play this for you, talk about it minimally, and play it a bit more. Because if you are someone who wants a high D whistle to either learn on, or the low D is your main whistle, or a low whistle is your main whistle, but you just want a high D, then this should be on your list of whistles to consider. Or if you want to learn, if you just want a whistle to decide if you want to whistle, this is like a few cups of coffee. so that's pretty awesome. So I want to do a few things. What I want to do is I'm going to play a scale for you. I'll talk about, I know it's an inexpensive whistle, so there's not going to be a lot to say about responsiveness and expressiveness and range of volume and stuff, but it's important for us to hear it because that might put it on your list or take it off your list. And I'm going to play a tune for us, then I'll tell you where to pick one up. All right, let me play scale. All right, the Clarke Celtic. Or I should do Somewhere Over the Rainbow. All right, see, I'm going to spoil it. This is $16 at today's exchange rate. I think it plays as well as some metal whistles that are, I was thinking there, sorry, as well as some lower intermediate metal whistles. Some of those lower intermediate metal whistles, you don't get a range of volume. You don't, but this has great tone. This is like a great whistle, $16. If you need a whistle to just get started, if you need a whistle to throw in your backpack, and if it gets crushed, you'll not even blink an eye, and you'll go out and buy a new one. This is great. And the other thing, like I said, some people don't want a polymer whistle as their first whistle or the high D. They want a metal whistle. So you can either buy the Sweetone or the Celtic, or you could spend a good bit more money. Now, you probably have other whistles you love, and I'd love for you to comment. But from one to another, I could buy 10 of these, and all 10 would be the same, pretty much. And you can't say that about a lot of the other whistles. Now, volume range. So I'm going to play the low D. I'm going to try and increase my volume. There's not much in it. But again, I know whistles that cost upwards of $100 that don't do that. You can, okay, the E, not much. I can actually start leaning in to some volume increases on the F sharp. This is funny. I mean, because that impresses me. You could play an expressive tune on this whistle. A little bit of Return from Fingal. You can half haul. It's crazy. This is a great little whistle. The Clarke Sweetone with a nicer suit. Play a little bit of the Blackthorn Stick for you. See, there are whistles that cost 3, 4, 5 times as much as this that would have broken on the octave jumps on half of those, on half of the notes as I was playing them. I'm trying to decide if the C sharp's just a smidge flat. So I probably need to hit my breath pressure a little stronger. A challenge on an entry level whistle like this. If you choose a whistle like this as your first whistle to learn to play, it's not going to teach you much about breath pressure. But there are tons of other whistles that aren't going to teach you much about breath pressure. So when you move to a low D, you're going to have to learn breath pressure, and you're going to have to spend some better money, some more money. But I'm surprised by the Clarke Sweetone and the Clarke Celtic. I think for what they are, they're beautiful. They are very traditional. It is rolled metal with a welded seam, but I'm not going to get into the story of who designed the head, but a really nicely designed head. And remember, the head's where it's happening. And this one is great because the whistle is great. $16.60. I'll put links as to where you could pick one up. If you want an inexpensive whistle to say, do I want to play the whistle? If you want an inexpensive travel whistle, if you want just to throw on the desk and pick it up and walk around and play it, this really needs to be on your list. It's amazing. And if you want the tone of a metal whistle, this eliminates most every other really good inexpensive whistle option. So Clarke, well done on the Clarke Sweetone and the Clarke Celtic. I think the Celtic with that it's really a good green color, and I love the Celtic knot on it. The Sweetone's fun. It's got somebody dancing. But I'm going to leave this on my desk. And I don't leave a lot of whistles on my desk. Well, I do, but not as many as I own. Anyway, my friends, I hope this is helpful. If you own a Clarke Sweetone or a Clarke Celtic, I'd love to hear your comments. I know professionals who throw this in their backpack, which is just amazing to me. But do you own one? What do you think of it? Would you recommend this whistle to one of our friends? You can actually buy it directly from Clarke. That's what I did. They ship quickly. It was good. But I'll put a couple other places where you could pick one up too. Because you got to be conscious of where you live and how long it takes for something to be shipped. Anyway, until next time, my friends, this is Scott Shade. Happy whistling.